Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Light of Ascension Tarot. Today's reading is a message for survivors and former codependents. So I wanted to do a reading today that touched on this issue because I think it's something that's prevalent in our society, codependency in general. We live in a very Machiavellian society where there's winners and losers. And, a lot of people, even in corporate America, people pleasing, being very codependent with their job. I know I did that for many, many years. And in our friendships and our relationships, especially those of us that are trauma survivors that have gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of us tend to default towards this people pleasing codependency type of a attitude. Now, if you did not have your needs met as a child, if you had a parent who is addicted, if you had a parent who is very selfish, if you were raised by a narcissist, if you were physically, emotionally, or sexually violated in your childhood and had your trust with the authority figures in your life broken, a lot of those experiences, what we tend to wrestle with later in life is codependent type behaviors. And when I say codependency, I'm talking about a fawn response. I'm talking about people pleasing. I'm talking about putting other people's needs before our own all the time, pretty much all the time, not taking proper care of ourselves, putting everyone else and their agenda in front of our agenda, not really taking care of what we need to do in our lives. And sometimes, this energy will backfire, and codependents are very resentful and upset that the people in their life are not reciprocating their energy when they've basically been pouring their cup, forward to whoever is in their life, whether it's their children. Parents can have codependent relationships with their children. It can be with a spouse. It can be with significant others, with friendships, with work. I mean, I know myself as, codependent who still sometimes finds myself floundering in those behaviors that, I do my best myself to to actually work through those issues and to mentally distance and detach myself from those types of behaviors, and to really tune into myself to find out, what do I need? How do I feel? And then making that a priority. Okay. And I don't do it perfectly. There's been a lot of times, even in my recent history, that, codependency has reared its ugly head, and, and it's hard. I know it's very hard, especially for those of us that are trauma survivors. I know it's hard, guys. And I'm a trauma survivor too. So I just, my heart goes out to everyone watching this video. You can obviously skip directly to your pile. I have 3 piles represented by 3 different crystals here. Before I start the reading though, I'm going to go through some tarot cards that I think represent healing from codependency, or are keys to heal from codependency. And for those of you that have suffered from that in your life, and this all too real, I'm gonna show you guys some of those cards, hopefully as a way to activate our healing and activate just a sense of putting the past behind us and going forward in a better way for ourselves, in a way that's more honoring for ourselves and also the people around us. Because if we're super wrapped up in codependency and we're taking care of others more than we're taking care of ourselves, if our friendships are totally unbalanced because we're the one always listening, or the one always doing, or the one always paying, or the one, you know how it goes, you guys. And that's not good for connections. It's really not, because it doesn't give the connection an opportunity to be balanced. And we do need to give, as codependents, we do need to give the people in our life an opportunity to give back to us. And that's been really hard for me, because I'm just speaking to my own self, because of some of the betrayals that, I've had in my life, especially in my early life. And so when somebody isn't reciprocating and they can't figure out that they haven't been reciprocating like they should, I have a tendency to, you know, really, once I sort of figure it out, I have a tendency to really push back hard on people who do that. And it's about identifying. It's 1:11 on my clock right now. It's about identifying, putting ourselves first, the energy of number one. Now, you know, the funny thing is for those of you that grew up around narcissists, things like that, you were probably very used to other people putting themselves first, and as a way to survive, you just put yourself second, right? So to balance that energy out, we do need to put ourselves first at times, which we can't really do unless we know what we want or what we need or what makes sense for us or understands our intentions or motivations for why we're making certain decisions, which is really hard to do if you've been cutting your own desires off, you've been cutting off your own compass, you've been totally, you know, drawn to everyone else's compass and not your own, okay? And it's very hard to kind of switch gears from that, but that's the work that we're here to do. And that's part of our healing process as former trauma survivors. So my heart goes out to all of you watching this video. If you choose to be here with me, I stand in solidarity with you, and I wish us all the healing in the world, okay? So pile number one, if you're drawn to pile number one, you're gonna choose the Leopard Jasper here. If you're drawn to pile number two, you're gonna choose the red Agate. If you're drawn to pile number three, you're gonna choose this Labradorite, okay? So it's pile one, pile two, or pile three. And by all means, if you wanna go straight to your pile, you can, but I'm gonna go ahead and flip some cards I pulled out that to me are part of the process of healing from codependency, because I asked myself this morning, like, what tarot cards would represent healing from codependency? Okay, so let's just flip them. Nine of Swords, so dealing with our PTSD, dealing with our trauma, also dealing with our own sense of isolation or sense that people are judging us, and kind of getting through those. You know, and for some of us too, we might need a lot of anxiety maybe as well for former codependents, anxiety about how things are going to go or how you're coming off to people or how people are seeing you, right? So working through those feelings, knowing when we're in that kind of a state and working through them, okay? And recognizing. Six of Swords, the ability to detach, the ability to let go, the ability to see what's going on in the world around us or below us, but still kind of detach from situations that we know are, you know, it's not that we don't love someone or that we don't care. It's not that we're just like, you know, fuck the world, you know, although I've definitely felt like that at moments, right? It's not that. It's just that we're choosing to lovingly detach, okay, from even from our own, you know, even from our own worry and anxiety about the way that people see us or the way that people perceive us, detaching from that. We have strength here. So this is all about strengthening the solar plexus chakra, this yellow color here, this inner strength, core, all right, developing our core, developing our solar plexus. Children who are adult children of narcissists or children of narcissists or addicts or parents that were very abusive to them or denying to them oftentimes have issues with their solar plexus. That's kind of where some of those issues hit, and that's kind of our will and that's our will to sort of exert our personality and will upon the world, right? So the strength card, being able to stand in our power. We have the Tower. Now, some of you might be going, why would the Tower help us heal from codependency? Because for me, in this case, the Tower is the breakthrough. It's that breakthrough moment when we realize, you know, I can't keep giving to this situation anymore. I can't keep carrying on the way I've been carrying on. I can't keep giving, I can't keep holding on to things that, you know, are not for me, that, you know, and I really have to learn to trust, right? This kind of dialogue around the Tower of, yeah, this breakthrough, something is crumbling or changing, but it is a breakthrough, okay? So this is part of healing from codependency, is this breakthrough on what we need to work on, okay? Three of Swords, all right? So, I mean, sometimes codependency can feel like every part of us is sensitive and everything can wound us, right? And some of us have been very betrayed and just had our heart chakras stamped on when we were younger kids, or when we were kids and our ego was very porous and we trusted and listened to the adults around us and they broke our hearts, okay? So Three of Swords is also about healing that, because there's real pain there where there's codependency and people pleasing and, you know, ignoring our own needs. There is a lot of pain underneath that, okay? Acknowledging that. We have the devil, okay? Some of you guys might say, well, feeling codependent is like being in the devil energy, right? It is, right? It's also recognizing the parts of us that are shadow side, the parts of us in codependency that have been sick or have been toxic to other people as well, right? Like being like, oh, good, no, I'm fine. I'll do that for you. I'm fine, right? But then seething underneath it, being resentful, wishing the other person would notice our effort, getting very aggravated with the people around us because they're not seeing what we've been doing. And in the meantime, we're unwilling to sort of give any kind of, you know, so it's like sometimes that feeling of wanting to stay a martyr, right? And it's also can be because we have low self-worth. And so we feel like we're trapped into, you know, maintaining that front, because if we're not giving, people aren't going to love us, okay? And that type of thinking, of course, is a trap, and it keeps us in our shadow, and that's the devil energy. So healing from that. I can see all the smoke coming off of this candle right now. I can see it's black is hitting the back of this candle, which is so interesting. Temperance, okay, being able to balance our needs with the needs of others, growing into that level of maturity when we can focus on our own needs, meeting our own needs, and we can kind of let people go to do the same for themselves. We don't have to be responsible for everything, okay? We have the Empress, self-love, right? Healing ourselves, healing and tending to the inner child, all right? Then we have the Ace of Swords, knowing the truth about what happened to us, particularly unlocking the secret truth about, you know, our childhood or the things that hurt us, understanding the truth about getting downloads from spirit too, understanding the truth about, you know, how we've behaved or how our thinking has shaped our behavior, okay? Then we have the King of Cups, maturing emotionally. No person's needs are more important than the other person's needs. And there'll be times when, you know, people in your life are going to be there for you and you're there for them. And it's that level of trust, and also, I know this is a very hard place to get to for those of us who are survivors, but it's that, not just that level of trust, but that level where we actually allow others to show up for us too. All right. So that can be challenging. We have the Emperor. So the ability to take up space in our connections with others and the ability to be a little bit selfish at times and take up space. Okay. Because it's okay to do that. It's not like if you do that, we saw horrible examples of that in our childhood of people, adults who really took advantage of their position and really victimized anybody around them, whether it was children, their friends, their significant others. We saw very bad examples of people acting in Emperor energy. And what we need to do is refine that, make it more balanced, but also we need to take up more space now, okay? We also have the King of Swords here. So it's that very much willing to call a spade, being very comfortable with our mental processes, letting other people know where we're at, not being afraid to speak up, not speaking from resentment or emotion that we've held back inside of us, but instead just speaking from a place of inner knowing, recognizing our progress too, right? It's not ever going to be perfect, but can we recognize our progress? All right. Death. Okay, this is a big one. So if we've had patterns going into our adulthood and we've kept with them and we've been doing the same thing over and over and we're not happy with our lives, but yet we're not really making any changes, but yet we're hinging our whole happiness on someone else, then, you know, death is here to kind of strip us from that energy. And yeah, there may be losses, there may be things, right? There may be endings, but the idea is to let go of what isn't essential and then take action on what we want from that standpoint, okay? Then we have the Moon, which I feel is actually one of the major cards here for healing codependency, because, I mean, a lot of people would say, well, you know, codependency could kind of come from the Moon. It could come from being, you know, separated from our subconscious desires, from not understanding what it is that we need emotionally, for putting others before ourselves, right? But, you know, because that is kind of the hook that we all got pulled into here, it's also kind of the thing that's going to release us too. So going deep, and as much as we've gone subconsciously into others, and we've, you know, sometimes maybe even spied on other people emotionally, right? Or we've tried to figure things out emotionally, that type of energy. Now it's time to kind of sit with our own emotional body, whether that's physical, mental, emotional. It's time for us to really sit with our feelings and get to know our own subconscious mind again, okay? Curiosity about that. The Chariot, right? The ability to command our own life, the ability to command ourselves in the direction that we want to go, and to trust ourselves that we're not going to be taking steps that we aren't ready to take, all right? And then we have the Queen of Swords, right? The mighty Queen of Swords, guys. So boundaries, baby, having the right boundaries, being able to, you know, boundaries is also like, there might be those when we're looking in another direction and we least expect it, there's somebody that kind of, you know, gets under our skin or gets through our boundary, right? And you know what? If somebody does, that's fine. We just identify it and then we restate our boundary and we say, nope, not going to happen. Not today, right? Having appropriate boundaries, Queen of Swords. Then we have the Queen of Cups, right? And a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, the Queen of Cups is what got us into trouble with this whole codependency thing, right? But I have the King here, the King and Queen of Cups, right? So I'm not seeing this as like an energy of like partnership. Certainly we could be in better partnerships as well. But I'm seeing this more as, you know, our own internal masculine protecting the inner feminine, all right? And protecting that softer side of ourselves, and you know, and really nurturing ourselves, really nurturing and loving ourselves. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, right? So the ability to be unpredictable, right? There's an element of codependency that's very predictable. It's like, you know, it's kind of like we do the same thing over and over. It has this very predictable energy to it. So the Wheel of Fortune shakes things up. It's all about anomaly. It's all about choosing another direction. It's all about surprising some people, going rogue, doing what it is that we want to do, being more unpredictable, okay? And then we have Nine of Cups, which is the permission to enjoy the passion and pleasure of our everyday lives, okay? So those are the cards that I'm kind of associating with healing codependency. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought for those of you that have suffered from codependency, that could be hopefully healing for you. But let's go ahead and get into the reading now. So I'm going to put the piles aside, and you can go straight to your description box of your pile. And we are going to go ahead and get into the energy, okay? So let's do it, everybody. Let's go ahead and do it. Clearing the energy, please and thank you, Spirit. Yeah. Ooh, goody goody, right? Goody goody, pile number one. Okay, pile number one, you chose the Leopard Jasper. Thank you for being here. Today's reading is a tarot reading for survivors of trauma and former codependents, or those who are trying to heal from codependency. If you want, I have a quick run through of some cards, tarot cards at the beginning of this reading that I associate with healing codependency. And so yeah, if you're interested, watch the intro to my video. Thank you for being here, pile number one. Spirits, angels, and guides, for my beautiful pile number ones, please help connect me to their energy today for my trauma survivors and those who are healing from codependency. Please and thank you. I'm overcome with a real sense of calm for you, pile number one, a real sense of calmness. So let's go ahead and get into your reading, my lovelies. I also feel like I might sneeze and then also laugh. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, pile number one. All right, we have transformation. Go inward and be present wherever you are at in your process. Feel whatever you need to feel. It may be hard to be present with some parts of yourself. Bring them into a cocoon of gentle self-love and reflection. Insight will come, shadows can be released, and your heart space will soften. Cry or be angry if this is what you are holding on to, and laugh at the ironic divine perfection of it all. Like I said, I was about ready to laugh there. Journey beyond your constructed outer self where you can delve into the beautiful abyss of your being. Revel in the twilight before the dawn and let your wings unfurl. Okay, so this talks about going deep within ourselves and getting the emotions out, crying if we need to be angry. I think anger is sometimes, I had the Tower as one of the cards that I talked about is healing from codependency that I just went through, and the Tower is the breakthrough. It can also be that moment or flash of anger when we realize, no, this isn't going to work for me anymore. Okay, so it's okay to cry and to be angry. It's okay to and it says here, it may be hard to be present with some parts of yourself, and I totally know that feeling, pile number one. But Spirit is saying, be gentle, bring all the parts of yourself into a cocoon of gentle self-love and reflection, okay? We have beyond the ordinary. Oh my God, I love this. I feel like some of you may have, like if you go back into your genetic family line, you may have history that goes back to Asia, or just not white. All right, is what I feel, but beyond the ordinary. Some of you guys may have mixed backgrounds as well, which I think is so super cool. And beyond the ordinary. All right, I feel like that's kind of like David Bowie energy, like his hair is dyed blue here, or purple, blue and purple it looks like in this picture. And I love the way that he has his arms around himself and is saying, I know I'm different, I know I'm unique, I'm not like other people, and that's cool. And for some of you, your brains may work in a different way too because of and I do feel like as trauma survivors and codependents or people, like our brains are changed because of that. Our brains are transformed, and and sometimes it's hard, and there are gifts that we get in this process, but I do feel that on some molecular level, our brains are changed. Home. Oh my gosh, I've been thinking of this card, right? A sense of home, right? A sense where you can really be yourself and be at home with yourself and go inward, right? When you're pulled to the outward, pile number one, when you're pulled to other people towards the outward, that's when Spirit is wanting you to go more into yourself, right? There's always going to be distractions. There's always going to be other people. There's always going to be things that we need to do, right? Sometimes we're just busy, kind of wanting to avoid ourselves in a way. I know that's been true for me at times. Spirit says, find home in yourself. We have Mars energy here. Okay, so again, this thing about crying and being angry in this transformation card, talking about death and the Tower, right? I mean, the Tower is Mars energy. And I also, Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So I would also say death and the Tower are two things here, like letting go, deeply letting go, but also that moment where we get very angry about some things that have happened and we start taking some action, okay? Especially as it relates to things that happened in your home environment, all right? Pile number one, I really feel like some very aggressive or very angry, aggressive energy could have been in your home, or now when you look back at your home, the home life that you had, you're like, that was unacceptable and I'm so angry, and we could have some Aries energy here too in this pile. But I feel like some of you are starting to realize that what happened in your home life was extremely unacceptable. And I feel like a lot of you guys may have tuned out, like with movies or video games or art or drawing, painting, writing. I feel like some of you guys really tuned out or disassociated as a way to kind of ignore it. But it's like, I feel sometimes for you that, guys, that feeling of anger comes up. Like how could that happen? That feeling of anger is kind of what's buried in there, is what I feel. Okay, we have breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Okay, so I can relate so well, pile number one. I feel like that's something that codependents, we do a lot, is we try to micromanage everything. We try to control. We try to take control of the details, right? Because if we can do that, that means that nothing's going to fall through the cracks. We won't let anyone down. We won't, you know, and as a boss at my job, because I've been in my industry for 20 years, besides reading tarot, which I've been doing for a long time too, but my day job I've been doing for 20 plus years. And I used to be a pretty heavy micromanager, and I've kind of relaxed from that, letting people kind of do their own thing a lot more than I used to, and trusting people more. And that was a big deal for me, particularly as a people pleaser. Like when I started in my career, I wanted everyone to think that I did a good job and that I knew what I was doing and that I was super proficient and competent. And so I put a lot of energy into kind of micromanaging things. And I feel like with this breath of the cosmos, it's time to just breathe, okay? It's time to breathe and relax a little bit, okay? Pile number one, because I feel like you guys may have some very high standards for yourself, and that's, you know, that's beautiful, but at the same time, like, you know, it may, like, and I see here now, I'm seeing the 5 of Wands, okay? Or actually, no, this is the 4. This is not the 5, this is the 4 of Wands. So this stability that you're seeking, that you didn't have maybe in your family life, where there was a lot of strife, or there was a lot of anger, or there was just, it was under the surface, you could feel it was there, but you kind of escaped that, right? And I do feel like your art, or the way you look at things, it's kind of been the stabilizing factor for you, pile number one. I keep wanting to say 3, like I feel like the number 3 is important for you guys. It's 133 on my clock right now. We have black egg right on top of that home card. Okay, so I'm gonna read that card. We have Scorpio, right? I was talking about Mars and Scorpio, and the ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars. That transformation, the death card, the tower card, right? That sense of feeling like our home is, you know, I feel like your guys' home life was very intense, very stressful, or very intense, or there was someone around you in your home life that was very intimidating, all right? And they could have made you feel like you didn't belong, like you were a black egg, or you were the black sheep, or that you didn't belong for some reason, okay? And I hate that word black sheep anyway. I absolutely hate it. Like, I just can't even stand saying it. And you know, and I feel like you guys are very unique, and you are a very joyful and creative spirit. And you're a very powerful manifester as far as speaking things into existence and transforming things, right? But it's also working through that anger that you probably, you know, wanted to turn away from at times, or working through those intensity of those emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, depression, crying, right? We have Krishna devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. So some of you feeling like what you give is not enough at times, right? Feeling like no matter how much you give, how much you help others, how much you give at work, how much you give at home, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough, right? Just kind of, instead of just enjoying the present, right? I feel like something that you guys did when you were younger as a coping mechanism is actually, in a way, it's a source of your creativity or your joy. And I feel like if there's something that you used to do when you were younger that actually bring you joy, or you liked doing, Spirit is saying here, get back into that, do it. Because some of you may be associating that with some of this really more challenging energy. And Spirit is saying, no, like that actually is a really beautiful part of you, like some of the things that you would do. like, you know, whether it was artistic things, whether it was play pretending, whether it was whatever it was, right? Writing stories, verbally sharing your story, whatever it may be, right? Fashion, playing dress up. I don't know, pile number one. It could be anything, right? But the thing that you really love doing. And with this devotion here, you know, Spirit is reminding you, you have been very devoted and loving, and it's okay to release the grip a little bit and just live more in the present moment, okay? Things don't have to be so complicated. We want to make things complicated, but, you know, a lot of times they don't need to be that complicated. Oh my God, wow. You guys have Krishna devotion and you have Parvati devotion. So these are two Hindu gods and goddess, and they are giving you the same message, is about devotion, all right? And not blind devotion, right? Not just doing things because we feel that we have to, but doing them from a spirit of, you know, of joy, right? That brings us joyful expression. So I want to read the black egg to you guys, and then I want to read Parvati here, okay? I think it's so cool. You got the Hindu god and goddess of devotion. I mean, how lovely. And I think it's something like sometimes you guys are like, yeah, I am devoted. I'm way too devoted. I give way too much. I'm not even thinking about myself sometimes, and I'm just like giving to others. And I feel like some of you guys beat yourself up over that. And yeah, boundaries are important, but I also think just realize that you are a very devoted soul. But here's what and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's a very beautiful thing. But I feel like what you guys also need to focus on, because we have the Hindu god and goddess here, is some type of spirituality to really transform some of this devoted energy also into, you know, higher spirituality, right? I mean, it's great that we're devoted to our families and our loved ones, right? We all have to have boundaries. There has to be limits at times because we need to make sure that we feel good in the process, right? But and that's a delicate balance. I know it is, especially if you have children. But you know, I feel here a calling home, a calling here for you to have like a spiritual home, pile number one, like a home with the god and the goddess, okay? So the black egg, speaking from authentic voice and the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies. Okay, not even white lies. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing and reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Oh, what did I mention? Okay, earlier in your reading, sounds draw us in, books draw us in, the concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself, and what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others may want to hear, right? That's something I want to mention. Like, do you guys say things that other people want to hear? Do you kind of know what people want to hear? Do you say it while underneath it you may have another opinion? Mars and Scorpio, you may have like some hidden aggression. I think that's something to look at, right? But, you know, we say things others want to hear. We gossip or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. Wow. The energy, and you know what? I feel like some of you guys growing up in your home, it was very aggressive and intimidating, and I felt like it made you feel like you have no inner truth of your own. That is really... Oh, pile number one, that is deep, okay? It says, the energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment in every situation. It is the epicenter of truth and the birthplace of our voice, okay? And the black egg resonates with the fifth chakra or the throat chakra, okay? So a real message there for you guys about some of the patterns and habits that you may have picked up, and about having a joyful, you know, surrender to all of that, okay? And having devotion even towards, you know, your spiritual path. I feel like sometimes withdrawing our energy from others, from what they want to hear, saying what they want to hear, all of that, and just giving some of that energy to our higher power, okay? That's kind of what I'm feeling here. I want to look at this card 41, Parvati right here. True commitment comes from wholehearted living in body, mind, and spirit. When the Hindu goddess Parvati rises up to greet you, she is acknowledging you for your sincere devotion to your personal growth. Wow, pile number one, recognize how far you've come, okay? With the world in so much turmoil, it's not easy to devote yourself to higher knowledge and a strong faith. But you are ready to serve others by being a bearer of love, compassion, and light. You must recommit yourself every day as unwavering in your devotion as Parvati was to Shiva and her goal of bringing peace to the world. Parvati asks that you find silence in daily meditation or contemplate your devotion as well as commitment to all of your life and making this world a better place. The great goddess is present when you renew your devotion and make that relationship primary above all else. Yeah, that's really what I was feeling, your spiritual devotion. Okay, pile number one, that is number one, above any human, I feel. You know, yourself and your devotion to source, right, are first and foremost. And then comes, you know, the work that we need to do in this lifetime, all right? All right, I feel like some of you, even so deep with that, some of you may have even considered, like, you know, going and like living in a nunnery or a monastery or living, you know, living a life like that. I feel like some of you maybe even considered that. You may have even had past lives where you did that too, or that was revealed to you, because I feel like that's how deep this goes. So let's go ahead and see for your devotion. Your devotion is so entrenched, but it's a beautiful thing. And I want you to see that as a beautiful thing, pile number one. Just boundaries, baby, boundaries, okay? And knowing where to put some of that devotion, right? Knowing where to put that. So what can pile number one do here, Spirit, to heal here from any former codependent traits or relationships that they need healing from here? We have 8 of Swords. So be willing to face the truth, right? Be willing to see things for what they are. I'm also getting a message about loyalty here. I feel like some of you feel like when you were younger, you had to be loyal to something, or you couldn't really speak up, or you knew something was happening, but you really couldn't do anything about it. It was this sense of feeling powerless, or that your loyalty was being tested, okay? And Spirit is saying, you know, as an adult now, you have a very shrewd mind, and, you know, and you have the ability to step away from any of those old attitudes, okay? What else can you tell me here for pile number one? We have 8 of Wands. It's 2 8s, right? So talking about your throat chakra, this is primarily where I feel you guys have held back, or where you have carried some, you know, resentment or anger, you know, angry energy. And it's cool. We all have it, especially if your childhood home was full of this shit. Like, no wonder, right? Like, we're not here to judge anything, pile number one. I'm not, particularly. What I'm saying here with this 8 of Wands is forgetting past loyalties that we felt that we had to be committed to, or having to say certain things to people but not really believing them, into the 8 of Wands to just being able to speak freely, all right? Being able to speak freely. And, you know, it's that balance, right? It's finding that balance between speaking freely with the people that we care about and being completely honest, versus just saying what other people want to hear. And on the other end of the spectrum, saying things that are very harsh and really upset people, right? And I feel like some of you guys could have grown up in homes like that, and so you've really tried not to be that way. But I also feel you've gone a little too far to the left, in the sense of kind of maybe saying what others wanting to hear, or giving others softballs when really you feel differently or you see differently. So it is about truth, and it is about your throat chakra, and it feels uncomfortable at times. I get it. I feel like a cat is like clawing at my throat chakra right now, you know, and I'm just asking for peace and healing for my pile number one, so that they can really get off their chest what they need to say. The Wheel of Fortune. This was one of my cards in the beginning of the reading where I talked about, and I'm drawn to this Scorpio up here in the corner, this scorpionic energy, this really deep energy. But I talked about the Wheel of Fortune as being a way to heal from being a codependent, where it includes being unpredictable, right? I mean, when I think of the Wheel of Fortune, it's like, yeah, we could live our lives on our knees, just giving to others all the time. Or we could be surprising. We could surprise ourselves. We could surprise others and be like, surprise, I left and I did this, right? It's about creating anomaly and giving ourselves a different story, right? I mean, there's power in telling our story. There truly is. But I also feel like you guys are just like, yeah, I want to do something different, something that may even surprise the people around me, okay? That I may even surprise myself with some of the things that I say. I'm feeling like Sagittarius and Jupiter energy because we have the 8 of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. So getting more Sagittarius energy in your life, getting more fire in your life. And Sagittarians, sometimes they just kind of let it rip. They just kind of say what they need to say. And they're not doing it in a mean-spirited way. They're just, you know, they're just expressing themselves. And I love that for you guys. Yeah, we have the 10 of Wands here. So you guys had some very serious lessons around Sagittarian energy is what I feel like. And you're not ever going to use it irresponsibly, okay? Look at the way that the bear has their hands on his shoulders there. And, you know, you guys, I know you understand these lessons around communication. And I know that you learned some very important messages around this growing up. And Spirit's saying, don't worry, you're not ever going to misuse it. You understand, you know. And also, too, you may have felt like, you know, again, intimidated, or that someone was trying to control what you thought or how you were thinking or how you were doing things, okay? And trying to be very overbearing on your energy. And now with this Wheel of Fortune, it's about getting free from that. It's the ability to express yourself in multiple ways, okay? It's the ability to say things that you never thought that you would say before, and letting go of this sense of heaviness that you need to always watch yourself, okay? You need to always watch what you say or what you do. So can you tell me something here for my pile number ones about what they can do with the relationships in their life currently here? Princess of Pentacles. So let other people give to you, all right? Let other people, I love how she has her hand on her heart over her chest right there. And it's like somebody came and brought her a gift and she's like, thank you, right? The same bear that we see being overbearing and intimidating you is now next to you here in this forest with its eyes closed, and it looks like you have your hand on its back, right? And you're willing to receive from other people here with this Princess of Pentacles, letting other people help you in tangible ways, letting other people compliment you, taking things a little bit slower when necessary, okay? Physical healing in your body too as well. Realizing that what used to intimidate you or upset you before is no longer it's no longer a part of your reality, and you flew the coop. You escaped from that, okay? We have 9 of Swords. So some of you guys may get into friendships or get into connections and your life is feeling pretty peaceful. You're feeling pretty good. But then you get a little bit worried, you know, 9 of Swords. Am I going to kind of fall back into some of these old patterns? Am I going to, you know, is this person going to hurt me? Like everything's going pretty good. This seems like a nice friendship or a nice connection. But is this person going to abuse me or hurt me or try to harm me? I feel like some of you guys may be still having some dreams as well. This person who hurt you in your past, in your childhood, they can no longer hurt you. They no longer have control over you, over what you say and what you do. Like you have command of that, and you are the king or queen of your own castle here. Or you're starting out to be. You're starting out to be. And you're taking those first steps towards physical and emotional healing. But I feel like sometimes you guys may still stress or have dreams about things not going. Like you're afraid if you just let go of control that everything's gonna fall apart on you. Maybe some of you feeling that way, okay? But I really see you guys overcoming that with this Knight of Cups here. It's like you're not going to you know, you're going to quickly move through that. Look at this. You have a unicorn chariot. You have a unicorn chariot, pile number 1. So I just think that, you know, you should kind of be open to letting others in small ways if you can, right? I don't want to tell you you should do anything. I mean, because I feel like you guys are starting to do things your own way now. With this Princess of Pentacles, you're getting some independence, you're having some freedom, you're getting to know about how you want your life to go here, but sometimes these memories are coming back here. I think asking for your guides to protect you during dream time. I'm getting with this Knight of Cups energy. I'm getting like silliness too with this unicorn chariot, like being a little bit silly at times. I feel like because your childhood environment was so intense, I feel like, you know, being a bit more lighthearted and not taking things so heavily is also part of your healing, okay? And I do feel it's important for you to have some emotional kind of like practices or breath work or movement or yoga coupled with, you know, going for some walks, some small things that you can kind of do physically here. I also feel that you guys could have a situation with a water sign or an earth sign that you're very worried about, or that you think that, you know, but it's like, I don't think you need to worry. I really don't. I think everything's going to be okay. Something new just started here with this Princess of Pentacles, and it is going to grow, and it is going to be fun, and it is going to be cool, okay? I love this Knight of Cups, Unicorn Chariot. And I think you guys are kind of like, you may be kind of worrying where there's no reason to kind of worry yet, or not even at all. You know, I think you guys may be just kind of associating this with some past experiences that you've had, some tough lessons that you had to learn. And Spirit is saying, no, just go forward and trust, because this seems pretty fun and cool, okay? We have the Knight of Cups, we have the Unicorn Chariot. So seems pretty fun and cool to me, all right, pile number 1. So those are your messages that I'm getting. Please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, my darlings. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I will see you again next time, my beauties. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into my pile number 2s. All right, clearing the energy, please and thank you, Spirit. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the red agate, this beautiful red agate. I was really inspired to use this in this reading. And this reading is about trauma survivors and former codependents or people pleasers and getting healing. In the beginning of this video, I did a walkthrough of some tarot cards, which I think are very healing when thinking about the issues surrounding codependency. So if you're interested in watching that walkthrough, that is at the beginning of my reading, and it is time-stamped, okay? So let's go ahead and channel it in. Spirits, angels, and guides, please help connect me to the beautiful energy of my pile number 2s and this wonderful red agate, as let's work through some of these issues surrounding codependency and people-pleasing. All right. Let's get into it. Pile number 2, let's do it. I feel like some of you guys could use a little bit better sleep is what I'm feeling. Like, I feel like you guys need to get cozy and get comfy. We have Earth Star Chakra, initiation. You are standing at the gateway into the unknown with trust in your heart, ancient remembering in your soul, and inner illumination to light the way. You have access to the seed of creation, the spark of existence, and the codes that hold the blueprints of who and what we are. The place is clear and grounded, despite moving through multidimensional realms, able to bridge the worlds while functioning in a physical reality. The higher you reaches for the divine and the realms of spirit, the higher you reach for the divine and the realms of spirit, the more important it is for you to anchor deeply to the earth, okay? So you guys are going through a deep initiation right now, and especially your third eye and your intuition is really being activated here. So Spirit is saying it's really important to, you're standing at the gateway of the unknown. So it's very important to anchor deeply into the earth, into earth energy. Okay. And I love this red agate because it's so earthy to me, even though and it actually, I think it's associated with the root chakra. I think red agate is. So how appropriate, right? Earth star chakra. Let's see. Close encounters. Oh my God. Okay. Close encounters. So I do feel like for you guys, it's spiritual awakening is on the menu here, but we're going to get more into this. We have details, right? So we could have Virgo energy here with the details. What does this say? Clarity, right? Important notes, but it's backwards, right? So I feel like a lot of you guys are very spiritual. You may be intuitives. You may be, having close encounters with spirit. Some of you may be studying to be mediums or work with spirit. I feel like you're having this big initiation right now, especially awakening your third eye, or you've already gone through that and it's just intensifying. But spirit is saying here, like, we need to anchor in, we need to pay attention to the details. So let's see what else. We have Jupiter, right? So a lot of times with Jupiter, the details are annoying, right? With Jupiter, we just want to expand and we just want to see things in a new way. And we just want to go into those beautiful, bountiful blessings of Jupiter. Our luck, right? Our luck is increasing. Things are expanding at a rapid rate. Okay, so I feel like for you guys, you're going into a busier period of your life and things are very much expanding, right? And I feel like sometimes this could be overwhelming. While it's very welcomed, it's like very wonderful that this is happening. I feel like it can also be overwhelming or unnerving. So let's see what we're getting here. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Yeah, some of you guys feeling very cracked open by some of the experiences that you've had in the last year or the last couple. I'm just feeling like the last year, maybe even around love and connections, okay? And feeling like, and some of you maybe, I know with codependency too, some of us could have even some addictions, things that we wished that, we could really moderate or that we could do less, right? So we talk about rock bottom here and being cracked open, right? And I feel like sometimes, and codependency can be looked at as an addiction, right? An addiction to people pleasing, an addiction to, and some of you guys may be taking care of a lot of the details for others. Either you're at a place where you're being initiated and you feel like you could get out of control with that, or you are the one that's taking care of all the details for others, and you realize all this running around, what it's kind of done here with hitting rock bottom. All right, so we have the chariot. Oh no, this isn't the chariot. This is the 5 of Cups. I saw the horse and I was like, oh my God, it's the chariot, but it's the 5 of Cups, right? So I feel like this has to do with relationships. Okay, this is about, promises that people made you and connections that you thought were growing and you thought you had clarity on, but you found out later that, no, that this thing wasn't grounded, all right? And that with the 5 of Cups here, there is definitely some sadness or resentment, particularly in your relationships. So talking about how some of your earlier experiences growing up or some of the trauma that you suffered, how it has kind of warped some of your relationships. I feel like pile number 2, getting really excited here with this Jupiter energy about our connections, right? But then feeling the bottom fall out and just being like, oh, another one left me, like feeling abandoned. I feel like sometimes here, pile number 2, we have lizard energy. So we'll read about the lizard energy, but this kind of energy of being on the watch and trying to take care of all the details, trying to make all the plans, right? And then finding out that this person is not really on the same page as you, or that they see things differently than you, or that they're not as committed, all right, to you as you were to the connection. We have door, right? Every ending is the opportunity for a new beginning. We have new doorways open with new opportunities here. This is coming out under Jupiter. So big opportunities here for you to expand and choose a different route here, pile number 2, okay? I feel like you guys do pretty good most of the time here with, I feel like sometimes it's relationships that really kind of hose you at times. Like you think you understand what's happening. You think you've got all the details ironed out. You think you've got everything going and everything's moving on the same path, but it's like, wow, you know, it's like, oh my God, right? And so I feel like that's where some of this issue comes up for you. We have heart awakening, awaken to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. Some of you guys may have been with people too who have addictions, or you've been in a partnership with others who have this energy, okay, and you kind of taking care of them, you trying to be, you know, fun for them, but also take care of them, this kind of caretaker enabler type of energy. I feel like sometimes for you, pile number 2, leading to feeling forgotten or feeling abandoned, right? And this heart awakening, yeah, this definitely has to do with relationships. And you may have seen that in your family where one parent was sort of caretaking the other person, or one of your parents had an addiction issue, or, you know, just something where there was an enabling type of energy, maybe even cheating, okay? But I feel like this is kind of what happens. We have Isis, rebirth, okay? So the door to rebirth ourselves here. I want to look at the lizard energy, and lizard is fire energy, along with Jupiter is also, you know, fire, Jupiter, Sagittarius energy. But let's go ahead and see. Jupiter is also very spiritual, but lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. It's as if it has a sixth sense. The lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest, right? Talking about your initiation and your third eye and your awakening. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. So have you been getting really tired? All the details. Some of you guys, this could be work too. Like you put a lot of effort and energy into the work that you do, especially those of you doing spiritual work for others. And at times you're just really tired, okay? It can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights in big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. Okay, so when the lizard is out of balance, it can be elusive, non-committal, and flaky, right? So I feel like sometimes, you know, I'm speaking to two energies here. I'm speaking to some of you who need a little more structure as a way to help you manage all the things that you have going on right now. And then some of you guys who are like, you know, managing everything for everyone else and getting really, really tired, okay? And there's kind of two energies going on here. And I definitely feel like with this rock bottom and cracked open, you definitely could have dealt with people in the past who struggled with addiction, or you did. Well, and also too, feeling abandoned or left out, okay, pile number 2. And I think that's kind of where when you guys overdo it, that's kind of, it's because you feel like, maybe you feel like you won't be loved unless you kind of do all these things, all right? And I want to read this Isis rebirth card here, this card number 24. So Isis coming through with a message for you guys in pile number 2. It says, the process of soul retrieval and resurrection and rebirth is a theme throughout the stories of the Egyptian goddess Isis, and the one she invites you to address now. This is a powerful moment to see some of what you thought you lost go through a process of regeneration to live again. Like magic, the pieces of you that were considered lost in an old wounds or stories are ready to be reclaimed in a healthier, more mature version. So did some of you feel like you were kind of a lost child? I know, like, in my family, and I'm not going to say which sister or whatever, but I did have a sister that she started using drugs at a very early age, and she was always kind of like the lost child, you know. And now to see her, and of course, you know, there was a lot of problems in my family. I alluded to that in the beginning of the video. There was a lot of neglect and stuff. But anyway, you know, my sister now as an adult, she's really come into herself with more maturity. I can see her, she's kind of going through this process of soul retrieval and finding all those lost parts of herself, feeling kind of like a lost child, right? Feeling abandoned like a lost child, and her reclaiming this in a more healthy, more mature version, okay? Where you were hopeless, there is now hope. Where you lost faith, you now have the capacity for even more. Where there was inequity and injustice, now you see a better way. Where you were abandoned, now you can choose you. I did talk about this, kind of like looking at this butterfly in a cage here, and then this other butterfly is leaving, and this sadness here, all right? I talked about that abandonment energy. Okay, now where you were abandoned, now you can choose you. You are ready to face these parts of yourself and gather them together as you step into a newer, more powerful version of yourself in your work, your relationships, and your creativity. Have courage. Let go of blame and claim your accountability, then go co-create something better. You can do this. The goddess Isis has come to help you as a potent supporter in your growth, okay? So yeah, reclaiming those parts of ourselves, opening new doorways, new opportunities, growing and expanding, right? And I do feel like, you know, as you guys grow and you let go of some of these older energies and you heal them, you're not going to be as drained in your work, okay? And you're going to set the right boundaries, you're going to set the right tone, and you're going to open the door for the right opportunities, all right? Sometimes when we had a parent that abandoned us, it makes us feel like, that we're not lovable, right? So then we may get into relationships where we're just not valued, right? And people abandon us, right? Reaffirming our belief that we're truly unlovable, you know, that kind of energy, guys, right? And I feel like here it's like you guys are awakening to accepting divine love, and you're going to give and receive in balance, this heart awakening, all right? And this being cracked open that we come into as a way by initiation, okay? But when we are abandoned by a parent, it's like it reaffirms that A, we don't feel worthy, B, we don't feel important, C, we feel betrayed, and D, we feel very lost sometimes in life, right? Because it's like we're missing that guidance, and we may push ourselves too hard sometimes, right? With the lizard energy, lizard has this beautiful, magical, creative, intuitive energy, but sometimes it all becomes too much, and we end up getting sick, or we end up getting, you know, really tired, you know? And I said at the beginning of your guys' reading, I felt like you guys need a really good day, like a really good bathrobe sloth kind of day to just relax, okay? So let's go ahead and see, because I feel like you guys could keep yourself very busy here, but, you know, sometimes busyness as a way to avoid looking at things. So let's see, how can pile number two heal from this from feeling this sadness about abandonment or lost child type of energy? How can pile number two heal from that, please? Temperance, that was one of my cards in the beginning of the reading when talking about how to recover from codependency. I also think there's a huge message in the Temperance card about, well, you guys have alchemy right here too, surrender to the alchemy of life. There's a huge message about addiction and recovery. And, you know, for those of us that love people who are addicts, or have loved people who are addicts and have felt enabling energies in the past, or you've had to work through your own issues with addiction, pile number two, a lot of that can come from that energy of growing up in a home where nobody's around, nobody can help you, everybody's lost, nobody's, you know, nobody's paying attention, all of that kind of energy, like the latchkey kids of the 80s, right? But with Temperance here, it's like we learn to, as adults, we can learn now to do things in moderation. We can learn to do things like, you know, instead of going out a night before we're going to have a really important day and getting really drunk and really crazy, and then knowing the next day we got to work all day and we're like, why did I do that to myself, right? Temperance doesn't do that. Temperance is like, no, I'm going to stay in tonight. I'm going to good night's sleep. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm also going to take my prior experiences and I'm going to work with them to open some new doors here. A lot of Sagittarius energy here with Jupiter, the door, and Temperance. Jupiter here twice with Jupiter and then Temperance. But it's about this divine alchemy too. It's about saying, okay, I'm going to test situations out before I go full force into them and just rip things open, right? I'm going to test things out and see how they feel. And I'm going to take a slower approach to things. And I'm going to go at my own pace, which is more comfortable to me, okay? Let's see, what else can pile number do here, Spirit? 6 of Cups. Okay, so spending time with the people that you love too. There may be some children in your life that really look up to you, that really think that you're very sweet and really love spending time with you. And Spirit is just sending a reminder here to say that those children need you in their life and they're so grateful that you're there. We have 5 of Wands. So this talks about, you know, getting lost in the shuffle. I feel like there could have been a lot of, you know, trying circumstances in your childhood, pile number 2, that, you know, you just didn't, you kind of, it could have felt like you kind of got lost in the shuffle, or that people were too busy doing other things that they didn't really see you. And I feel like people were just trying to survive. And there could have been an older sister or an older brother here who tried to help, you know, or who tried to kind of step in and be that person for you. All right. But I feel like this energy of, you know, and also too, I feel like there's something about siblings. I just have to be straight up here. I do feel like there is something about a sibling story here too. Either a sibling that tried to help that just made things worse, or a sibling that actually did try to help, but the environment was so fucked up that, you know, and I feel like it's one thing. I think you guys are kind of realizing that it wasn't that people didn't see you, or that they were, I mean, with your parents, that's a different thing. But if it's with your siblings, I feel like you're realizing it's not that they didn't see you. It's just that they were kind of so busy trying to survive and trying to figure out what they were doing, and without any direction either, that, you know, sometimes it just felt like nobody was really working together and people were very not on the same page. And there was just no, I feel like sometimes you felt like there was no room for you, pile number 2. Like there was no room for you. And I feel like now as an adult, you have an opportunity to make things more real for children in your own life, nieces, nephews, other younger siblings. Like now in your life, I feel like pile number 2, you have an opportunity to kind of, make things right. All right. And even your parent, I feel like even a parent here may try to make things right as well here. Like they may have realized that wasn't fair and I should try to make things right. Okay. I do feel that too as well. So let's see, for some of you, let's see what else here. What else from Spirit for pile number 2? The High Priestess, again, you guys with the Earth Star initiation in the third eye chakra. Some of you guys having very successful intuitive businesses, all right? And sometimes being left on your own, to kind of left to your own devices it sucked, I feel like, pile number 2, but I also feel like it was good in a way because you really got to tap into some unusual energy, or you really got to, you learn a lot about, you know, you really got to, also I feel like you guys kind of observing, you know, what was happening in your family. I feel like sometimes you could see the infighting, or you could see people just messing up, or people just not paying attention. And I feel like it gave you a really good opportunity to kind of observe human behavior in a way. And, you know, and what this has turned into is you being a very intuitive, observant person. I don't think you miss any detail, pile number 2. I feel like you see the details of what's going on, and you can see like everybody's little petty fighting or just stupid disagreements. I feel like you kind of are holding yourself separate from that. And I feel like you're a very good example for the next generation, okay? And you really, with Temperance here, I feel like you're really going to get yourself balanced out, pile number 2. And you're really going to find some true happiness here with the Six of Cups, some deeper relationships. Look at this. Look at the King of Cups. As soon as I started talking about relationships and deeper relationships, the King of Cups pops out. So talk about loyalty and commitment. I also feel that this person has a similar energy to you. They have this quiet way of sort of observing everything around them and absorbing. And this could be a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but I feel like this person also has a really awesome style as well. And I feel like they can be very relaxed with you or dress up and have fun, but I feel them just being very relaxed with you. And I see your guys' energies working really well together. I see you meeting someone who is this heart awakening. This King of Cups came out right next to this heart awakening. I feel like for some of you, this new door or opportunity is a new love connection, okay? For those of you that are not looking for love, this is just you emotionally balancing out. This is just, and it's not just, right? It's you emotionally balancing out and kind of staying above things. Like you can see what happens, you can see the infighting, you can see other people kind of being kind of obsessed with their own thing or whatever is going on in front of them. But I just see you kind of, you know, laid back and sort of analyzing the situation, but not getting overly involved in it, and I love that, especially as a former codependent. I really feel for you guys, it really is former in a way. I mean, I feel like sometimes because you didn't have a lot of direction. You didn't have that direction when you were growing up, or you maybe felt abandoned or like a lost child, etc. That sometimes it gets a little confusing, especially when you have choices to make. I feel like it's like, whoa, you know, it can get a little bit overwhelming, but Spirit is saying here, and I feel sometimes you may feel that people get impatient with you, or people just expect you to know what you're gonna do right away. And I feel like you guys need a little bit more time to kind of tap into what you need to do, okay? Because you didn't have, I think what a lot of people don't get is that you didn't have that kind of parent or formative figure to sort of guide you along the way. I feel like that person was either going through their own shit, going through a divorce, too busy working, trying to survive, or you may came from a single parent home. Whatever it is, I just feel like it takes you a little bit longer to kind of look at things and make decisions, especially sometimes about relationships, because you kind of didn't have that guidance that a lot of other people had. It's like it took you a little bit longer for you to develop your value system, and that's cool. But guess what? Like, strong and steady and sturdy wins the race. 4 of Wands, right? Look at the 5 of Wands versus the 4 of Wands. You guys could have had parents that were argued with each other a lot, that were getting divorced. They were too busy shit fighting with each other, or they were just too busy working, or whatever it was, that, it feels like you got pushed to the wayside at times, pile number 2. So, but look at what you're building for your life. 4 of Wands, right? Simplicity, not all that arguing or fighting. And I know that the reason you're careful about your decisions is because you know that not all paths lead to, like, you've seen the example and how important it is to think carefully about the decisions that you make, okay? And I feel like Spirit is saying, don't let that immobilize you, and don't let it, cause you to miss a really good opportunity with someone really new here who could be very much a match to you. Pile number 2, right? But at the same time, I feel like you don't have anything to worry about. Spirit is bringing you the 4 of Wands. They're bringing you a lot of peace and simplicity, joy and happiness, okay? A really balanced life. You guys are gonna there's so much hope here for you for a really balanced life. Yeah, we have Page of Cups. So again, I get this energy with you guys of a child or somebody looking up to the way that you are going to conduct your relationships. different than the way that things were conducted when you grew up, okay? And some of you could have a female child if you don't have one yet, or one that's trying to come through to you, trying to connect with you. But I also just feel like it's like a huge sigh of release, where if this doesn't have to do with children, then it's just a huge sigh of relief looking at what's possible and what's ahead, right? And this Page of Cups kind of feeling like, you know, I think when you were younger, this is kind of what you always wanted. This is, to me, is also like your younger self. Very romantic, wanting that really amazing, powerful connection that, you know, you can feel like, yeah, like this is my person. Somebody loves me, right? And I see you guys like really wanting that, right? But also sometimes it's like, well, what do I do, right? Because there's also other things. There's work, there's money, there's changes, there's things that come up. Should I move? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go, right? And Spirit is saying just quiet the mind, all right? And just kind of emotionally take it down a couple notches, okay? Because don't even worry, because what you always wanted and for yourself, pile number 2, is this kind of really stable connection with a soulmate. And I feel like you're gonna get it. If you don't already have it, if you have it, be grateful, be tremendously grateful and happy for, you know, what you've been able to kind of manifest in your life, given where you've come from, right? And if you don't have it yet, I mean, hope is here, baby. It's here. And I feel like, you know, with this Page of Cups, there's something really innocent about you, pile number 2. There's something very innocent. And I feel like, you know, when you were younger, or when you were younger dating or things like that, you could have been kind of naive, or you could have been like a little too innocent or naive. 222 on my clock right now in pile number 2. But look at you now, High Priestess. She reminds me of Kamala Harris, this High Priestess, the way she's dressed, everything, the way she looks. But I mean, look at you now, like your intuition on point. Yeah, you're a sweet and loving person, but you're no one's fool. You're not naive anymore, okay? So, and it's not naive to think that you could have something that is truly like a wonderful connection, okay? Soulmate energy, 1111, 4 of Wands. Okay, so thank you so much, pile number 2. I hope that reading was inspiring for you. I hope it was uplifting for you. And do leave me a comment if it resonated. Thank you so much, pile number 2. And let's go ahead and move into pile number 3. Let's do it. All right. Pile number 3, Z's. All right, I'm just going to take a drink. And let's go ahead and get into it. I'm just going to check my camera because I had weird issues with recording. Yeah, there we go. I keep checking lately because I'm all paranoid. Let's clear the energy. Okay. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the Labradorite stone here. And our question for today is, or our message for today is for survivors, for former trauma survivors and former codependents, okay? So bringing you a message of healing today for you, my darlings. And these messages are also incredibly healing for me too, to even bring them to you, because I also am a former trauma survivor and codependent as well, okay? So for those of you that wanted to know, I did a little walkthrough at the beginning of the reading of what cards I associate with from healing from codependency. So if you want to check that out at the beginning of my reading, you can certainly do so. Let's go ahead and get into it. Whew, I feel like this Labradorite is sort of like heating up in my hands. It's like this back and forth. It's heating up, okay? Spirits, angels, and guides, please help connect me to the wonderful magnetic energy of my gorgeous pile number 3s, please, and thank you. Okay, so let's get some healthy healing messages about overcoming codependency and working through healing of our traumas. Okay, let's do it. Pile number 3. Ooh, we have this beautiful sweet dragon. I love the dragon here. Look at her eyes. They're so sweet. I love your guys' eyes in pile number 3. He's so cute. Okay, It says vulnerability. When we are truly honest with ourselves in all of our facets, we are vulnerable. That honesty is an important step in discovering our shadows and bringing them to light for healing. When we share our vulnerabilities with others, we allow them to glimpse a deeper part of ourselves. Be vulnerable with yourself and others. It may be time to step into the role of a healer and hold space. Holding space means being fully present without judgment in a way that provides a safe and nurturing environment. Here, guards are dropped, a deeper level of awareness and relating can unfold, and profound healing takes place. So this is all about being vulnerable, which is super hard if you grew up in a home or you grew up in a situation where there was a lot of trauma, chaos, and instability. Okay, it's very hard, especially if you felt betrayed or very hurt by some of your early caregivers, or in any kind of an abusive situation. It's very hard to be vulnerable because we put those walls up pretty high, and we learn to start doing that even in childhood when we feel like we can't trust the people around us, okay? So an important message here for you, pile number 3, about vulnerability: taking it as you can, not putting so much pressure on yourself with the vulnerability. But the more vulnerable we are with ourselves, the more we can hold space for other people to be vulnerable with us, right? I heard a quote the other day that we can only meet people, or people can only meet us where they've been willing to meet themselves, and vice versa. So if you're a healer, then it's really important that we can meet ourselves there. So we work towards that. And if we're not there yet, we keep working towards it, right? The roots of abundance, we keep working toward it, okay? And we feel very grounded and rooted in what we're doing here with this roots of abundance. And I think there's a message here about vulnerability as being a root of abundance, okay? Because we're human. I heard the other day, like, is it better to just be kind of like a narcissist and be Machiavellian and use people and not be honest about our, why we're doing what we're doing? Or is it better to just be a human being and try to be successful in this world? And I heard this on a video, and somebody said, I don't know if you guys in pile number 3, if you've seen the show Hannibal on Netflix, but one of the characters says to Hannibal Lecter, or Hannibal Lecter says to one of the characters, "Oh, you think you're smarter than me because you caught me." And the person that caught him said, "No, I don't think I'm smarter than you, but I'm also not insane, so I have an advantage over you." Okay? So, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable, is what I'm saying, pile number 3. We have card 44 with strength. Wow, a lot of rooting, a lot of strength, a lot of power here for you, pile number 3, but not in a way that is lording power over others. It's just you being strong and being very rooted so that you can kind of give to others. Okay, we have the sun energy. So it is right now, it is about, the sun shining on you, pile number 3. And, a lot of people think that ego or having ego is a bad thing, right? And it's like, I don't believe that. I firmly, you don't have to believe what I believe, but I believe we need our egos. We are human beings having a human experience. We need our egos in this lifetime. But being comfortable with being seen and being vulnerable, right? With the sun being on you. I feel like the spotlight is about to be on you, pile number 3. Or you're a healer who's gaining more and more momentum in the work that you're doing. And so it's more important than ever for you to be present in your, in your own consciousness is what I feel. Okay, pile number 4. So let's see what else we get here. We have portal, Jesus, wow. Doors are opening, you decide. Rewards and wild card. Oh my God, I got chills when I read you decide, okay? With the sun energy and the strength and the roots of abundance, new doors are opening for you, pile number 3. You decide now. If you lived in an environment where you had to put up a lot of walls when you were younger and you couldn't be vulnerable and you just had to make certain decisions and soldier on, I feel, and you had to like sort of bow down to other people or other people's egos or what they wanted. Not anymore, right? Not anymore. We have a portal to your success here, and it's saying doors are opening. You decide what you want to do. I love that. You decide, not anybody else, okay? Ooh, oh my God, Jesus. Pile number 3. We have the sun twice. The more that vulnerable that you are, the more that you show yourself, the more that you take root in yourself, the more that you let others see you, the more successful you are, the more money you can make, the more, this is directly tied to your abundance, the more doors that open for you, the more portals that open for you. Strength card, a lot of Leo energy in this pile, and you don't have to be a Leo to gain the benefits of Leo energy. I mean, a couple years ago, I think it was in 2019 for me, I was really feeling the Queen of Wands, and I felt like I'm really stepping into my Queen of Wands energy. And you know what's funny is like my North Node is in Leo, but I don't have a lot of planets in Leo. And that was new energy for me, but it's like, you don't even have to be a Leo to take advantage of this. It's like getting yourself out there and making the decisions that you want to make for self and in your own strength, integrity, and authority is so important here for you, pile number 3. This is really cool. Cosmic egg. What you bring to others is so protected and valuable. Okay, so this energy has to do, the cosmic egg associates with the crown chakra. So a lot of important information coming to you from Spirit right now. And Spirit is saying, look, I got you. You are protected. You are a colorful, bright, and shining being, okay? And there's no reason to be afraid. This is a beautiful portal, okay? And Spirit's like, we got you. We got you, okay? Like, you're going to make this shit look easy. We got you. I love that. It's like the more vulnerable you are, the more rewards you're going to get. We have blooming like a lotus, self-regeneration, purity, and enlightenment. Wow, talk about the sun with enlightenment and blooming like a lotus, right? The lotus is coming from the mud, but comes to grow into this beautiful flower. So coming from circumstances, like, you know, coming from challenging circumstances, pile number 3, like I say this sometimes about myself too. I have no right to be where I am, right? But I think I'm going to stop saying that because it's like, no, you know, I do have a right to be where I am. And so do you, okay? When we think about the lotus, it's like coming from, you know, started from the bottom, now we're here, okay? And we're not going anywhere. And Spirit is guarding our progress, okay? And cheering us on. We have the Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you on the trails of the sun. Share yourself and your gifts with grace, pile number 3, okay? Ooh, we have Sophia, the goddess Sophia, divine wisdom. Wow, okay. Like, you guys have learned so much. And I feel like some of you guys could have grown up maybe economically disadvantaged, from poor areas, from areas of the world where you thought maybe things would never change or you would never get out of that situation, having to grow up really fast and put walls around yourself and not wanting to be vulnerable. Now, a lot of people think that like not wanting to be vulnerable has nothing to do with codependency, but it actually really does. I mean, I never wanted to be vulnerable when I was younger. I still have problems with it sometimes, like, to be honest, pile number 3, but you know, vulnerability, it's like if we don't show people who we truly are, then we don't really risk anything and no one can touch us and no one can hurt us. And that's actually a different kind of codependent. It's more, it's not interdependent, but you know, there's this meme going around saying that extreme self-reliance or extreme independence is a trauma response, all right? And I do know that, right? I know that personally in my own life. And it's really funny when you're not used to being vulnerable and you finally let someone in. And if you have any of that codependency energy in there because you had to take care of yourself, there wasn't there people there for you to show you, you had to make things happen in your own life. People didn't have the time, effort, or energy, or you just, you know, some really dire circumstances, right? Growing up, then I feel like at those moments when we let people in, sometimes it's really scary, and sometimes we pull back and we don't let people in, or when we finally do, they deeply hurt us, okay? And with the sun coming through here twice in the strength card, it's about healing from those experiences and being proud of who we are. Okay, pile number 3, being proud of who we are. So let's see, number 47 here. Let's get involved with the goddess Sophia. It says, human wisdom comes from personal experience, but divine wisdom is unknown to our life experience. When we ask for help, we are asking from guidance from source greater than us, a great unknowable mystery. When we receive it, it is often life-altering and affects us in ways beyond our comprehension. The Gnostic goddess Sophia, who brought the material world into being, arrives to show you how fate and destiny operate in relationship to synchronicity. When you least expect it, opportunities and meetings spring up if out of nowhere. Your life begins to work out and your sense of alignment with a higher purpose and power. Trust you are divinely protected and directed. I mentioned that here. Whatever you're doing right now is totally divinely protected. Pile number 3. Practice the act of faith before results. That can be really hard. That's a vulnerability too, to practice faith before results happen. This is an essential key in co-creating your work, okay? So it says, when you're disconnected from your higher power, you begin to believe that you alone are the source of abundance in life, which I talked about earlier, that sense of not wanting to be vulnerable and thinking that, you know, only you can make it happen. You can't rely on anyone else. I used to think that way myself, pile number 3. I know how that is. And I still have issues. I used to actually get very angry at the concept of manifestation because things were pretty challenging for me when I was younger. And so even economically, very challenging. So or from the family that I was from, was very challenging. So, you know, I used to get so annoyed with manifestation because it was like, well, you know, that would have been nice, right? Back in the day. I used to get like physically angry at manifestation. It's so funny. But I've learned to, it was another wall that I think I put up as well. Like, only I can make this happen. Only I can do it, right? Like, because I can't count on anyone else, right? Like that type of energy, I have to only depend on myself. So, and that kind of, you know, energy, when we're actually trying to, you know, fall in love, when we're trying to share ourselves with someone, it's very hard to be comfortable doing that if you've had a lot of that in your life, okay? And that is an issue of extreme self-reliance. Is kind of, it's an issue of codependency too. It crosses over into that territory, like not allowing others in, and when we do, they wound us or hurt us, okay? Really badly, because, and then we're like, see, that's what happens. That's why I only depend on myself, right? And I feel like you guys you're starting to see where the root of all of this started, with this vulnerability here and this roots of abundance. And you know, you are very successful. If you haven't already been, you will be very successful, and you are a very strong person, pile number 3. But Spirit is saying here, divine wisdom, right? Let source help you. Let your angels protect you. Let friends help you, right? You don't have to do all of this alone. Let's see, for my pile number 3s here, how can they move past any codependency or traumas? How can they do that? Spirit, for my pile number 3s. 2 of Wands. So, you know, you guys have like taking deliberate action, deciding what you want to do next, okay? Having a spirit of adventure. I feel like you guys are pioneers, and you're used to kind of pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps and kind of getting it done, taking road trips by yourselves, being ultra independent. There is nothing wrong with that. I just want to say, pile number 3, there is nothing wrong with that. So definitely, you know, Spirit is saying all these things that you did for yourself to kind of push yourself forward, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, you were on the right path. But, you know, it's like here with Judgment, it's like you're kind of trying to weigh it out. You're saying, all right, what weighs more, my heart or this feather? And what's important to me, right? Like I have earlier in your life, or I feel like now you've been very independent, or you've had to become that way, right? But with Judgment here, Spirit is saying, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper with that, okay? Let's go deeper. Let's see what else here. What else from Spirit? 8 of Wands, okay? Something about people wanting to talk to you, wanting to hear your opinion on things, wanting to see your transformation, I feel like here. Maybe you guys need to write or talk about this in some way, I feel like here. With, oh, there's the Strength card. It came up twice. Like I said, it's there and it's there, okay? So Spirit is just saying here, it was really tough. Your beginning circumstances, pile number 3, were very challenging here with Judgment. And now things are starting to move a lot faster for you. Things are starting to move in your direction. And with the Strength card, like, you know, sometimes being vulnerable is actually stronger, right? We build these walls around us, and we don't want anyone to see how hard we had to struggle or how challenging it was, right? But I feel like, you know, you guys are ready to kind of reveal yourselves here with this Strength card twice showing it up, all right? Showing up here. You're ready to reveal yourselves. Let's see what else here. We have the Hierophant. Okay, so a spiritual teacher. And this is the wisdom, all right? Because I feel like before you guys were like, hey, I got to go do this on my own. It's up to me. And now I feel like you're more collaborating with Spirit, and you're allowing more teachers into your life, or you are becoming the teacher. All right. And people are going to be listening to you because you have a lot of wisdom here. All right. So it's very important. I feel like you guys because you may have grew up in an environment that was chaotic, or that you couldn't really, you know, you felt like you had to constantly be responding to it or moving forward, right? I feel like with this Hierophant energy, it's also this energy of listen and learn, but take it a bit easier, okay? As you're getting older, or as you're learning more about yourself, take it a little bit easier, okay? Take it easier on yourself. There's plenty of time to do everything that you want. What else here for pile number 3? King of Wands, okay? So again, I feel like you guys have important messages to share with others about the trials that you've been through and how to conquer some of this. And I feel like with the King of Wands here and the Sun and divine wisdom, I feel like it's very important for you guys to be respected, particularly in your relationships, okay? And that your partner sees you as an equal and respects you. This is very important for you. And it is part of you actually being able to be vulnerable. And I feel like some of you guys, this change of becoming vulnerable has been very hard, because you've had to be the boss of your own life, and you've had to teach yourself and learn the hard way many times in life, even in your past lives, I feel, pile number 3. And so sometimes, you know, you get a little bit crabby about it, or you get upset about it because you're like, no, I'm not gonna, you know, do that. I'm not gonna change. Or you feel stubborn, right, about things here with the Hierophant and the King of Wands. But, you know, Spirit is like, I feel like you guys had to grow up really fast, okay? And you had to choose a direction and figure things out your own way very early on. And it was very challenging. And Spirit is wanting you now to travel more, to have more fun, to enjoy your life more, okay? They're wanting you to spend time with friends. They're wanting you to rejuvenate yourself by enjoying your connections with others, all right? And they want you to just have fun without any agenda. Nothing business, nothing whatever, just having fun. It doesn't matter any hierarchy, who knows more than the other person, nothing like that. It's like, let's just have fun and enjoy each other's company. I also feel like a short trip or travel could be very healing for you too. What else here for pile number 3? Temperance. Okay, that was one of my cards from And I feel like, you know, there's no more running from the past, right? There's no more running from this feeling that if someone catches up with you or catches you, they're going to see what you're doing or see you for who you are, and they'll reject you, or you'll fail, or it won't work out, right? Your plans have worked out, I feel like, pile number 3. And now it's time to be a bit more easy, baby. It's time to be a bit more easy about your life. It's time to travel. It's time to have fun. It's time to enjoy without going, it's time to enjoy your life without going overboard on any one thing, okay? And with so much strength and sun energy, I definitely feel like you guys are going to be, with whatever you're doing, you're going to be well known for it. You're going to be on the map for it. People are going to know your name. And they're going to ask you, like, how did you get to where you are today? Your life is kind of going to become a roadmap for other people who are in similar situations, okay? And you're going to help others make decisions and transform their life, I feel like, pile number 3. And people are going to be very inspired by the words that you say, talking about your journey and the strength that you have held throughout that, okay? Right now, I feel like there are some lovely friends or people that support you that really want to reach out to you. And I also feel like your angels are here with you, celebrating with you. They're actually celebrating with you. And here's your angels again here, celebrating with you, saying, we're raising our glass to you. You're so fiery. You're so amazing. You mix the emotional part with the fire part so well, okay? Sagittarius, Scorpio energy here, Taurus energy here. Yeah, okay, Leo energy definitely here as well. Thank you so much, pile number 3. So many blessings to you on your journey. Remember to take it easy and enjoy your life. Enjoy the fruits of your labors, my darlings. And we'll see you next again later. Thank you so much.